Bill Maher may be on the left, but at least he's one of the few Democrats willing to admit his party has a serious problem with the radical activist wing. Khanna looked completely lost, trying to defend both sides of that contradiction. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
There's Democrats and there's Democrat Socialists. I mean, those are two distinct parts of the same party. I mean, they are obviously in a coalition together, but people who are Democratic Socialists make that distinction. They say, I am a Democratic Socialist. That's Bernie Sanders, that's Mondami, that's the mayor of Seattle, a number of them.
And so far, it plays in big cities, but there's no evidence yet that you can take that outside of major metro cores in this country. And I think one of the fascinating tests of the 2028 campaign for president is there going to be somebody that reflects those views that can play beyond a New York, a Seattle, now a Washington, D.C.?
Well, first of all, we're in a different time than 2020. And many people have seen income inequality soar, these wars that they don't like.
But you aren't a socialist, are you?
Well, I call myself a progressive capitalist, and I call myself for economic patriotism, rebuild the FDR coalition, but make sure it includes the Black South, where we're talking about building new factories in places like Pennsylvania, having new trade schools, having health care for everyone with Medicare for all. I believe having economic development and economic bill of rights.
Look, Bernie Sanders is 0 for 2 running for president, okay? So it had been tried previously, and it hasn't worked. So the question is, can this play on the road somewhere else, South Carolina, New Hampshire, or Nevada, beyond a big city? It hasn't so far.
You can have a majority coalition. FDR did it. He did it 4 terms.
But you say the party, the tent is big enough for both the Democrats and the Democratic Socialists. Because can I read you some of the things that are the Democratic and the Democratic Socialist platform?
Yeah. Sure.
Can I read you the ones that I think are crazy?
Sure. I mean, I may not agree with them either.
Universal health care, no premiums, no copays, no deductibles. They tried this in Vermont. They couldn't get it to work.
Well, you can do it nationally.
Oh,
you know, it's worked in Taiwan. It's worked.
Taiwan is not a state, Rob. I hate to say it.
It's worked. No, but look, it's worked in Canada. We pay twice as much for health care as any other industrialized country, and we've got the worst healthcare outcomes. If you had a single payer, if you just expand Medicare, Moynihan wanted to do this. If you expand Medicare for everyone, and everyone has to pay a little bit,
why couldn't it work in a state like Vermont?
The reason we don't have it is private health insurance companies spend millions.
I'm confused. Why it would work nationally when it couldn't work even in these 2 states?
And because the states didn't have the waivers to get the money. You need the federal money. You need the Medicare, Medicaid money that the states didn't have. And so it's hard to do it on a state without the waivers. If you have the waivers and you have the right policy on taxation, then you can do it.
And real fast, what line hurt Obama the most on the ACA? If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. He got jammed on that because people want to keep their doctor.
I mean, they've also proposed it here in California, and the budget would have to be like $800 million. It would be like twice or 3 times what we pay for everything now.
The U.S. Congress is not going to end private health care in this country.
They're just not.
No one is talking about ending private health care. They're talking about expanding Medicare, and then if you have Medicare with hearing and vision and dental, and then you expand it, then people can still get supplemental private insurance. The reality is Medicare works, and if you expanding it is the biggest way to lower costs in this country and get everyone covered. I don't think you look at what has worked when Johnson created Medicare. He envisioned that it would eventually cover everyone.
The only thing that people hate more than health care and health insurance companies is fucking with their health insurance companies because they want to have the same health care. Just screwing with people's health care invariably hurts the party that is doing the screwing.
I agree with that, but you don't get, if you're not talking about national health care, you're talking about national health insurance. It means you can keep your doctor, you can go see any doctor you want. Every doctor is in network.
Okay, how about this one? Workers can migrate free across borders. That seems like was a loser for the Democrats last time. I don't think that's going to be a winner, or is it really even the right thing to do?
What does it even mean?
Open borders.
Open borders. No, I think we need a secure border, and there's a place you can come in.
Okay.
That's the tell. It's a loser.
All college free and cancel all student loan debt.
You know, for the time we were in Iran, literally, we could have free public college in America. I mean, what would be a better investment for the United States? Literally, for the amount we spend on Iran, we could have.
What about
public
canceling
colleges.
student loan debt? Because a lot of people say, and I would agree with this, it sort of helps the better off people. I mean, the person who doesn't go to college is now going to subsidize the person who's going to make a lot more money because they did go to college. It doesn't seem actually like a progressive thing to do.
I took out a lot of student loans. I've done well. They shouldn't forgive student loans for people like me.
It's one thing to expand community college access, make that free, perhaps make, you know, some state universities free. But what Bill's talking about is the politics of telling a blue-collar guy, hey, your taxpayer dollars are going to forgive some you know, college smartass. He's not paying his loans back. He's like, well, how's that helping me, man?
Yeah, because
it's so risky.
Because that's the Republican frame. And you know how we pay for it? Tax Elon Musk. What we got to tell you is the billionaires have screwed you and they've screwed the college kid. Get the college kids' loans forgiven and put a Marshall Plan in America to build new industry.
But Democrats already have a challenge with working class voters that is
because
killing your party.
Because we did NAFTA, because we did China in the World Trade Organization, because we watched places like Bucks County, Pennsylvania, where I grew up, Fairless Works shut down, steel plants shut down, and we didn't do a thing.
The working class didn't abandon Democrats. Democrats abandoned the working class. That's why so many union workers, tradesmen, and blue-collar voters have moved toward Trump and the GOP. Maher exposed exactly what's wrong with modern Democrats. They talk about helping workers while pushing policies that seem designed for activists on social media rather than people working real jobs. Free college for everyone sounds great until you realize somebody has to pay for it. Why should a plumber who skipped college be forced to cover the tuition bill for someone else's degree? Trade schools deserve a lot more respect in this country. We need electricians, welders, mechanics, and plumbers far more than we need another generation buried in student debt with useless degrees. Khanna keeps talking about manufacturing and blue-collar workers, but then turns around and supports policies that appeal almost exclusively to progressive activists. You can't have it both ways. The answer from politicians is always the same. Spend more money, create bigger government programs, and tax successful people more. At some point, they need to explain why the money already being spent isn't solving the problem. Bill Maher asking simple common sense questions makes half the Democrat Party uncomfortable because they're not used to being challenged on their own contradictions. Elon Musk drives the left crazy because he's proof that innovation, risk-taking, and entrepreneurship still matter. They want the jobs and economic growth his companies create while constantly attacking the people creating them. One of the biggest myths in America is that everyone needs a 4-year degree. Plenty of people are making 6 figures in the trades without ever stepping foot on a college campus. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.